Hey guys, what's up? This is 8-Bit Eric and today we're talking about some of the most underrated Sega Genesis games of all time.
Green Dog is one of those weird Sega Genesis games that not many people talk about. You play as a surfer dude who is washed ashore on a mysterious island where you get informed by a babe in a red bikini that the amulet you are wearing is cursed. And damn, is this bikini girl hot. The way the sun glistens on her wet skin, the blonde hair flowing through the wind.
I know it's a little too early in the video to talk about how hot she looks, but jeez Louise, just look at her.
So it's up to you to tread through the jungles, caves, and all sorts of obstacles of this mysterious island in order to release the curse. This is a cheesy yet laid-back plot of a video game. I remember this was one of my favorite Sega Genesis games. Green Dog presents a nice tropical atmosphere for a platforming game. Everything in this game is out to kill you. You use your trusty frisbee in order to defeat enemies, and you can even hit totem poles to pull out items and power-ups that come in the form of munchies, donuts, and french fries. How wacky is this? This was one of my favorite games growing up, and you don't really hear much about it when people talk about the Sega Genesis. I really feel that it is an underrated platforming game. It is not the best, it's not as solid as Sonic the Hedgehog, but hey man, what more do you need? It just has that weird lovable tone to it that just makes me want to chill out, sip a Capri Sun, and waste my Saturday morning playing this game.
Next up, Ranger X. More like Ranger Ass, am I right?
Ranger X is one of those cool games where you control a freaking robot blasting the hell out of every single thing that moves. You could float, you could fly, you have two extra vehicles to help you out. One that's like a motorcycle and one that's like a freaking flying spaceship.
There's all sorts of badass shit in this game. In other words, it is freaking legit.
This game is batshit insane, but one cool thing about it is it definitely pushes the limits of the Sega Genesis hardware. It even has vector graphics. Even though that may seem a little bit laughable nowadays, for the Sega Genesis, this was pretty big.
Like my dick!
While this game came at the end of the Sega Genesis life cycle, this game is highly underrated and underappreciated. I think more people should play it. Ranger X has a lot of action in it, it's easy to control, it's innovative, has a lot of great graphical detail, and especially in the backgrounds. This is a mixture of a decent platformer with a little bit of puzzle elements and, you know, all sorts of everything in it. This is a game that everybody could like. I liked it, you will like it, and if you don't, then you suck. Plain and simple.
Well guys, that is 2 underrated Sega Genesis games down. We got 2 more to go, but before we proceed, may you comment below with thoughts, favorite underrated Sega Genesis title of all time hereforth.
Sunset Riders on the Sega Genesis is a little bit different than the arcade classic. It's not an exact port. It's built from the ground up due to the limitations of the Genesis. The 4-player co-op is completely cut. There's only 2 players available. I play as Cormado.
Because I'm Mexican! Get it?
The level layout of these games are entirely different, and you know, the Genesis version is actually kind of less cartoony than the Super Nintendo.
Except this guy, he gets completely fried.
Now, if you haven't played Sunset Riders because you've been living under a rock, the main objective is simple. You get from point A to point B, you take out all the bastard bandits that stand in your way, and you rescue damsels in distress. And these ladies are pretty hot.
Oh man, my pants are tightening right now and I am getting so freaking wet.
At the end of the level, you can take on a boss to collect the bounty. This game is very fun to play. It can be a bit racist at times with its horrible Indian stereotypes, However, this game is just so addictive and enjoyable that it's difficult to put down. This is a perfect nostalgia trip for me. I remember plugging in so many quarters in the arcade, and when the home versions came in, I was excited. I just knew I had to have it. While it's not as great as the arcade or Super Nintendo, it has its perks. It's actually kind of hard to find, and the fact that it's drastically different in terms of gameplay, it's definitely worth a look. And one of the better, underrated, exclusive Genesis games out there.
Next up, one of my favorites of all time, Quackshot.
Quackshot is one of the best Disney games on the Sega Genesis. In fact, in gaming history. The story is Donald Duck finds an ancient treasure map and decides to get the treasure for Daisy, but Pete and his minions decide to get the treasure for themselves. Now the great thing about this game is that it's mostly non-linear. You can go to any level shown on the map at any time and return back and forth to get special items to go further in the stage. This game has a number of unusual features such as plungers as weapons. Wonder where they got that from.
Donald Duck? More like Donald Fuck.
There's also other interesting weapons such as popcorn guns and bubblegum guns. The enemies consist of Pete's henchmen who throw bombs and other obstacles at you, and parrots that drop stuff from overhead. Most of these levels take place in weird locations such as the desert, a temple, and Transylvania. The graphics in this game are excellent. The animations of Donald are very well done. I love this game. This is up there with Castle of Illusion as far as Disney games go, in my opinion.
And we all know my opinion is factual and sexual.
Quackshot is a very underrated classic. I remember playing this a lot when I was growing up, and it is definitely worth a look.
And well guys, that has been some underrated Sega Genesis games. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment below with some of your overlooked gems. And yeah, that's it for today. Peace out.